What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and this is going to be my video covering the full spoilers for Boruto Manga Chapter 63. So I did make a video before this that was showing like a shortened summary of Boruto Manga Chapter 63. So if you guys are interested in a shorter version that's less detailed, go check that video out. But if you are interested in the full detail by detail spoilers, this is your video. So we're starting off over here with scene number 1, which is going to be pages 1 through 13, and it's going to be covering about half of the chapter. So, by the way, the cover of this chapter is going to be Boruto with his normal activated karma and forming a Rasengan in his other palm. So with the actual chapter we start off with, it says the chapter opens with Boruto standing in between Code and Kawaki, who is still on his hands and knees. We get treated to a dramatic trifold panel of them all staring at each other. Code then presses his right hand, which has a segment of his black studded belt on his palm, against his right ear again. His ear then appears on the black studded belt that is located on Ada's sleeve. Damon is still fast asleep in her arms. Ada's left eye is still activated with the black sclera. Code says nothing. Ada says, "As you can see, Boruto detected Kawaki and came chasing after him. Seriously, I ended up giving you a report about it after it all happened because you weren't listening to me and were behaving so recklessly." Code says he went in pursuit of Kawaki even though he had extinguished his chakra. How did he do that? Ada says, "I don't know. Maybe it's because he's an Otsutsuki or it's due to the effects of the karma. Either way, it seems like they have a special bond with one another. I'm jealous." Ada's still holding a sleeping Damon close to her chest. Boruto continues to angrily stare back at Code. Boruto says, "Kawaki, you used yourself as bait? Weren't you just saying that your objective was to drag out that bastard Code?" Kawaki says, "Didn't I tell you not to do such unnecessary things? You're gonna get killed. Don't you understand that?" Boruto says, "That was my line, you dumb bastard. Don't you know my personality? Given the circumstances, there was no way that I wouldn't have gone chasing after you, alright?" Kawaki says, "You shithead, we're equally stupid." Kawaki is now finally standing back upright. Kawaki says, "Oi, Code, weren't you trying to take me somewhere? Don't pay attention to that guy. Just hurry up and do it." Code doesn't say anything, but Code still has the palm of his hand pressed up against his right ear. Boruto then turns around to address Kawaki and is a bit taken aback, my bad. Boruto says, "Oi, what are you talking about?" Sorry, my recording got cut, but the last line I was saying was Kawaki says, "Listen up, stay out of this, Boruto. Don't interfere with me any more than you already have." Boruto says, "Hey, why are you acting so desperately? I'm right here. Sooner or later, Dad and his teammates are going to follow up on the chakra. They'll be coming to help us. We've just got to hang on until then." Kawaki says, "That's probably why your idea is useless. There's no point in doing that." Boruto says, "Eh?" Kawaki says, "I won't let the Hokage die, ever, even if it'll mean it'll cost me my own life." Boruto says, "Kawaki." Code then starts rustling and adjusting the hood on his cloak. Inside the lining of the hood is another small strip of studded black belt. He slides the hood over his head so that it aligns with his right ear. Ada says, "That lot from Konoha is still focused on searching for Kawaki within the village. But now that Boruto has appeared over there, it'll be only a matter of time before the Hokage and his comrades show up." Code says, "Only one of them is being meddlesome, but, well, what the hell can you even do to protect the Hokage, Kawaki?" Kawaki glares back at Code. Kawaki says, "Didn't you say that there was someone who wants to meet me? I don't know who the heck they even are, though." Boruto says, "Eh?" Code stares back at Kawaki without much of a reaction. Kawaki says, "I want to have a chat with them, since I'm not making much progress here with a bastard like you anyway." Code says, "How unexpected of you." Ada says, "No way Kawaki wants to come to me? Oh my goodness." Ada starts to sweat drop a bit. She's covering her mouth with her right hand in disbelief and excitement. Boruto says, "Hold up, who are you meeting? Who are they?" Kawaki says, "You said that I was excluded from your murder list, so knowing a bastard like you, You would have thought about killing me off in the first place, and yet I've been excluded, all for their sake. That means that it's someone who is influential enough to make that Ichiki maniac bastard obey them, isn't that right? That's why I want to negotiate with them. Boruto's quiet. Code says, "You're rather quick-witted, aren't you? For coming up with something like this at the last minute." Ada starts blushing profusely as sweat drips down her cheek. She's speechless as her heart starts pounding. Code says, "So it's fine then. Not that I give a damn, but you never know what kind of unreasonable demands that they might impose on you." Kawaki says, "People who have any sort of business to do with me never turn out to be decent people, so I'm used to it." Suddenly, a long stripe of studded black belt runs right behind where Kawaki is standing. Code says, "Well, I intend to forcibly take you along with me anyway, but if you're willing to come along with me, then this is turning out to be an even better scenario, so why don't we get going?" Boruto is still standing defiantly in between them. Boruto says, "Wait a minute, you guys. You can't just keep discussing things and proceed to whatever you want." Kawaki says, "Didn't I tell you to stay out of this, Boruto? Don't overcomplicate the discussion." Boruto says, "You're the one who's overcomplicating things, Kawaki. Didn't you understand what I said? Dad wouldn't want something like this to happen." Kawaki responds, "But aren't you the one who doesn't understand what's going on? I'm doing this to protect the Hokage. It's got nothing to do with you. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks." Boruto then sucker punches Kawaki right in the face, and Kawaki slides along the ground, grimacing. And that wraps up scene 1. Let's jump into scene 2. Okay, guys, so scene 2 and scene 3 are put together here, which is going to lead us to about the halfway point of the chapter. Scene 2 is going to be pages 14 through 19, and scene 3 is going to be pages 20 to 22. And then after that, the rest of the chapter is pretty much going to be action. So let's start with scene 2. The scene 2 is Code rambles on. Code smirks a bit as he watches Boruto and Kawaki argue with one another. Code says, "Wow." Kawaki says, "You bastard. Why did you freaking do that all of a sudden?" Kawaki starts wiping off the blood on his face as Boruto towers over him. Boruto says, "That's enough. Have it your way. Tadebasa, I think. I really understand how you feel, though, about protecting Dad, but I'm going to protect you. I'll do things my way, and it's got nothing to do with you. Isn't that right, brother?" Kawaki says, "Oh." Ada says, "Hold up, eh? Wasn't that so cool, Boruto? What, this feeling? Oh my goodness." Ada is still clutching Damon, who's still fast asleep. Ada still has a little sweat drop. She's still covering her mouth with her hand. Code says, "So you're Otsutsuki Momoshiki's vessel, Uzumaki Boruto. This is the first time that we've met, right?" "I'm Code. I worship the Otsutsuki. I'm the one who has inherited their mighty will." Boruto says, "What did you inherit, and from whom? Aren't you just a lowly grunt? Sorry, but you're not that interesting." Code says, "This is how I honestly feel, though. I revere you. For me, the Otsutsuki are beings to worship. They are beings that are on par with gods." Boruto says, "Huh?" Code says, "That's why this will be so painful for me. In order to cultivate the Shinju, there must be a sacrifice." And by the way, if you guys don't know, that translates to divine tree. So I'll have to feed you to the Jubi since I'm such a pious devotee. This mission is too cruel to me." Boruto says, "So that's how it is, but needless to say, I'm sorry that you have to go through this. But why can't you just pretend none of this ever happened and just go home?" We now see a panel of Code with his right hand morph into a claw. It's peeking out from his cloak. Code says, "That's impossible. This is my long-awaited chance, and one that's free of hindrance. I've been wondering what the quality of the sacrifice would be like, so let me check it out for a bit." Kawaki says, "Run away, Boruto. There's no way you'd win. Not a chance in a million. You know that, right?" Boruto says, "It's unlikely that he'll get me away that easily. And what'll happen after I make my escape anyway? I don't like to make too many assumptions about people when I've only just met them." Boruto starts to activate karma. The pattern spreads around his face and his eye like usual. Boruto says, "But there's no mistaking that he's a thick-headed psycho bastard. I gotta drive him away somehow." Kawaki says, "Boruto." So, on to scene 3, guys. So, we're going back to the Uzumaki household over here. So, it says the scene switches back over to the status of Konoha. Ino is at her command center. Naruto is still in the Uzumaki household. Ino says, It's no use, we can't find him. We've expanded our reach not only within the village, but also in the areas outside of it as well. Where has Kawaki gone off to? Naruto says, I see. Could you try expanding your sensory range? Ino says, first off, if he really did extinguish his chakra, no matter how much we search for him using this method, I don't think we'll be able to locate him. Naruto then has a brief flashback of Boruto saying that Kawaki escaped and extinguished his chakra. Boruto also mentioned that Kawaki was probably already outside of the village. Naruto then notices that Boruto is gone as he looks around the room. Naruto says, Boruto? Meanwhile, Nishi is on the rooftop. Naruto calls out to him for some help from the window. Nishi says, that guy Kawaki, where the heck did he go? Naruto says, Nishi, where's Boruto right now? I need to talk to him. Nishi says, yes, Nishi kinda just looks off into the blank space for a bit. Naruto says, what's going on? What's wrong? Nishi says, I'm sorry, but it doesn't seem like he's close by. Naruto says, what? And that's where scene 3 ends, and we'll be jumping into scene 4 in a second, but I would like to say before that it seems like now this is what's going to lead to Naruto taking action, as well as perhaps someone else, maybe like Sasuke, or maybe someone else from the village. We'll see what they do, but it won't be happening this chapter. This is probably just a few pages of setup for what's to come in next month's chapter, or maybe after that. But let's jump into scene 4. So guys, onward to scene 4 now. This is going to be the final scene of the chapter 63 as a whole. And this is going to be consisting of pages 23 to 41, so about half of the chapter. And it seems like this is going to be a lot of action. But I'm sure we'll get some dialogue here and there too, but if not, we're going to get the action described to us here. So, the scene switches right back to Boruto, who is engaging in taijutsu with Code. Boruto tried to kick Code in the head, but Code just raises a transformed left arm and casually blocks it. Boruto then starts forming a Rasengan and closing in on Code's torso. Code doesn't react much at all. Rasengan still in hand, Boruto takes a swing at Code. However, Code has suddenly disappeared. He slipped into a section of a studded black belt that was placed already on the ground. Boruto thinks to himself, so that's an example of his ability. He can move from claw mark to claw mark. Code starts to emerge from one of the black studded belts that was positioned across from him on a tree trunk nearby. Kawaki says, Boruto, behind you. Code fully emerges with his right claw, ready to strike. He lands a swipe on Boruto, which sends him flying off. In midair, Boruto manages to reorient himself. He flings some shuriken at Code. Code readies both of his arms out to counter, but Boruto has actually thrown them a bit past Code. As Boruto crashes into the ground, another Boruto seemingly pops up right behind Code. Code is rather surprised that Boruto has disguised himself as one of the shuriken. This is cool stuff. I like that Boruto's using his head in this battle because he knows he's outmatched with power, so you gotta counter back by being smart, and that's what he's doing. The Boruto in the air from behind Code now uses Raisen. Boruto struck it into the ground. Kawaki steadies himself from the blast. However, he did not hit Code at all. As the smoke clears, only 3 claw marks remain where he once stood. Boruto says, damn it. It's those claw mark things again. Where did he freaking go? The airborne Boruto then poofs away. Boruto looks behind him again. Code starts talking to him calmly. He's leaning up against a tree but has crossed his arm and legs. There's 2 lines of black studded belts at his feet. Code says, I see. So you prepared the shadow clone that had already been transformed into shuriken. How intriguing. You make me get excited to battle a ninja. However, and then now we move towards page 30. Code then gives a cold glare right back at Boruto. He activates his white variant karma. Code says, it doesn't seem like you know how to use karma. Boruto thinks to himself, a white karma? Code starts walking towards Boruto. Boruto tries to engage him with a punch. However, Code elbows him in beneath his jaw. Before he could even make contact, Boruto gets sent flying backwards. Boruto says, "Arg." Kawaki thinks to himself, he's fast, and that was a hard, solid hit. Code is nonchalantly walking up to Boruto, who's laying on the ground and trying to get back up. Boruto reaches back into his pouch and tries to throw some more shuriken at Code again. Boruto misses. Code coldly kicks Boruto in the torso, which sends him flying backwards even further than before. Boruto lands face down on the ground. Kawaki thinks to himself, "Ska, seriously? You're no match for him. Wasn't that obvious already?" Kawaki watches on as Boruto is struggling to get back up. Code approaches Boruto once again. So far, guys, I think this is, you guys can tell too, but this sounds like it's a beatdown so far. Like, Boruto's trying his best, but Code isn't breaking a sweat at all, and he's just destroying him at the moment. So now we're on like page 35. Code says, "Do you know why you suddenly get stronger when you activate Karma? Your power and speed increases because it improves your physical abilities. That's just one of its main attributes, of course. But honestly, that alone won't lead to a dramatic improvement in your combat capabilities. It's also due to something else. The pith of Karma." Kawaki says, "The pith of Karma?" So, by the way, there's a little note over here that says pith can mean soul, spirit, essence, core, or heart. So, translated to that. Code says, "That's what has been accumulated by existing for such a long time. The combat experience of the Otsutsuki. Karma adds that experience onto yourself as is. That's why you became stronger. In other words, you'll instantly become a seasoned veteran and a fearless fighter. If you can properly and precisely draw out the power of the Karma, that is." Code winds up his leg so that he just raises it back to knee height. He then kicks Boruto back again. He tumbles even further away. He lands face down again. Code says, "You should be able to do that much, so show me." Code then begins raising his foot, aiming it at Boruto's upper back. Code says, "The power of Otsutsuki Momoshiki." Kawaki screams, "Boruto!" Code goes to stomp down on him with his foot, but Boruto has vanished. Code still seems pretty calm and unfazed. He glances off to the sides with his eyes. But without turning his head at all, Boruto is now squatting and burning with the fiery chakra aura. Boruto has different karma markings than on the cover page now. His facial karma pattern is more square/angular, like in Borushiki versus Boro. And his right arm has the karma ring pattern around his fingers. He does not have a horn. In all three panels where the right eye is visible, there are no dots for an iris/pupil. That would indicate placeholder, like the placeholder for the Byakugan pupil. So it could just be maybe a misdrawing. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he should have Byakugan if he activates Borushiki, right? I know a lot of people nowadays debate if it's Byakugan or the Jogan, but I'm pretty sure what Borushiki is supposed to have the Byakugan. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Code says, yes, that's it, just like that. Kawaki doesn't say anything. Ada and Kawaki observe the scene silently. Boruto starts slowly standing back up. A menacing chakra aura surrounds him. You can see clouds from his breathing. His left eye is obscured by his hair, but seems to be normal and remains open. Boruto says, And then the side text on the final page is, in front of an overwhelming threat, Boruto unleashes his powers of his karma that he had been suppressing. The visual appearance and form is... And that's how the chapter ends. We end on the cliffhanger of Boruto seemingly going through a transformation. I can't wait to see the visual, but there might be a good chance it's a version of Borushiki, if not Borushiki himself somehow. Maybe this is part of the side effects from the drugs he's taking. Maybe Boruto obtains like a better controlled version of like a Borushiki type of power or transformation. Let me know what you guys think it could be, but at the moment I'm leaning towards it being something of that sort of level, because that's the only way he would really stand a chance against Code at the moment. But that's what I think of it. Let me know what you guys thought of all these spoilers for the Boruto manga chapter 63 in the comments below. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new, especially if you guys are a Boruto fan, because I cover these spoilers every month, and I also cover anime spoilers for Boruto all the time as well. But yeah, so feel free to sub if you guys are interested. Hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys are watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.